Hello, everybody. Welcome to Everyday Shenanigans. Yes, the Queen is on a little bit later than normal, but wanted to bring you all the 411 pertaining to a case of Mr. Justin Ross Harris. If you need verification for the storyline, please log on to the Atlanta Journal Constitution. And thanks for joining me. Lawyers for Mr. Justin Ross Harris attended a Zoom court hearing, and they basically are saying that in this case, evidence was wrongly admitted, questions not permitted, and it put the client in an untenable position during his 2016 trial. Mr. Harris is accused of leaving his child in a hot car on June 18, 2014. He was 40 years old at the time and a Home Depot web developer. He got sentenced to life plus 32 years in a Macon, Georgia prison, in South Central Georgia. It is rare in a case like this that a new trial will be granted, and his lawyers are basically saying that the lawyers that represented him were ineffective and that they also can be called to testify as witnesses. Police plus the district attorney office are accused of putting false information out about Mr. Harris, and that Phil Stoddard, a detective, lied on several occasions, such as saying that Harris was involved in a group promoting child-free lifestyle, and that has been refuted. Hello, everybody. That was refuted by him. That it was a issue that came up at work in a conversation, and he just was basically listening to the conversation, but he's denying that he ever was involved in a group promoting child-free lifestyle. Detective Sean Murphy said during a search warrant that Mr. Harris searched the deaths inside of vehicles, including the length of time it would take for a child to pass away. The state provided sufficient evidence that the death of the child, who was 22 months old, a boy, to be intentional. And he did this so he could live without being responsible for children. He intended to divorce his wife, and he was having numerous sexual relationships. And this is why they brought this to fruition as evidence for the new trial. Why he doesn't need to be let go. That's the state's opinion pertaining to Mr. Harris. Excuse me. A little slow tonight. Sorry about that. Fox 5 also gives commentary about this said new trial, which will be a 3-day hearing starting on December 14th at 9 a.m. And it should end after 3 days, which will take place possibly tomorrow, which will be the 17th. It is stated that on the day that the child died in the car, Mr. Harris visited his car midday to drop off a purchase. He normally ate lunch, breakfast, or whatever at a said restaurant. I think it was a Chick-fil-A. And on that same day, he took his child to the said restaurant. He's been seen on camera holding his child and going back to the car with his child. He got extra years for this crime because he was accused of sexting an underage girl, charged with child cruelty, and this was discovered during the investigation. Thereafter, the death of the child. The car was parked at his job in the parking lot. The child was discovered 7 hours later, and the temperature was in the high 80s on that fateful day. It is stated through searches that he was leading a double life. He preferred sex with strangers. He had a sex addiction. Pardon me. He was only married to his wife, stayed with her because he had a son with her. He was cheating on his wife. And they have information leading to conversations and sexting with the 14-year-old girl through the Kick and Whisper apps. He was swapping texts with a 14-year-old girl while the child was lying dead inside of the car. The same girl testified that he asked her to send pics of her breasts to him, which she obliged him with a picture of her body parts. And this took place on June 18, 2014. He is charged with disseminating harmful material to a minor, criminal attempt to commit sexual exploitation of a minor, and offenses dealing with sexting to a child. When she was 16 and 17 years old, during those said months, she also exchanged sexual banter and photos online with Mr. Harris. And as I state, his hearing started on the 14th of December. It should take 3 days to get a resolution if there will be a new trial, if he will be granted a new trial. He obviously has new attorneys, so we will see how that pans out. I do believe last year I brought you all the said information when I first came to the YouTube family about this said death of a child in a car. And I believe some crazy woman jumped on commenting about I didn't know him and yah. I think it's the same guy. I'm always reporting some story about somebody's child dying in a car. And as I said to this lady, if it's the same guy, because I talk about so many subjects that mirror each other, you don't know him. Because if you knew him, you would know he wouldn't have left his child in the car. And the fact that a man took his child to eat, how in the world could you have forgotten the child was in the backseat of the car when they said that the restaurant was only minutes away from Home Depot where he worked? So how did you forget when you obviously took your child out of the car to go eat, then you got back inside your car, Mr. Harris, with the said child, and you mean to tell me you forgot? Now, one article states that you were running late, then the meeting was postponed, and yah. So your head was all over the place. But your head wasn't all over the place because you see, you had already told on yourself in those apps where you had been conversating with someone that you were a dirty bird and you like the company of little girls and you like talking to little girls and you like receiving naked pictures of little girls and you like having sex with strangers. You told someone you had a sex addiction. So you have been a busy bee. Hello, Nitra, how you doing? So I don't believe that you didn't know that child was in the backseat. I don't believe that you forgot about the child. The fact that you got out of the car, you went to that said car in the afternoon and obviously went somewhere in the car means you got in the car with a dead baby. Now you kind of reminded me of the black girl who got in her car in Knoxville last year and just rode around from her job to her child's school with the dead baby in the back seat. Then on to the grocery store. Yeah, okay. I brought you all that said story as well. You see, ain't nobody forgetting about no kid. These people are deliberately leaving their babies in the car and doing what they want to do because they want to be child free. And that's my opinion on that. Because most people just don't forget their children. You might be running late getting to the schoolhouse, the daycare, the person who's keeping your child. But rarely do people forget that their child is in the same automobile. Can I get a witness? Very, very rare. Do you hear people saying, I forgot my child? Okay, pretty baby, stop it now. But that is the said information pertaining to Mr. Harris seeking a new trial, which they are believing that he probably won't get it, but who knows? We live in a world where it depends on the day that you send people into a room to debate what mood the judge is in, who's to say. But he's facing life plus the 32 years for the criminal charges of aiding the child. So the young girl who he was corresponding with through sexual material and sexting, what you see, he's a dirty bird right there. It's one thing he's allegedly Googling things about killing a child in a car and leaving a child in a car. Then they're trying to say that the police lied and made all that up, which we already know they're going to search your phone records. So now you want to say that what? The detectives planted evidence on your phone and jimmied up records to admit into court? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You're cheating on your wife. You want to have sex with everybody, and you sending nasty messages to children. why would I think you wouldn't be the type to want to kill a kid? You know, some people say, well, you can't compare the two. You know, doing wrong and killing somebody is totally different. One doesn't mean it'll lead to the other. But we've seen in many cases people who end up murdering people lied, manipulated, stole, molested, raped, kidnapped. They did a whole lot of things because it seems that one deviant behavior leads to another. I brought you all a video earlier today pertaining to Antoinette Smith, the mother who was allegedly left in Nashville, Tennessee on a date, and a child left at a Goodwill in South Haven, Mississippi. I just went on social media to see if her Mohawk dyeing profile is up. As I stated to you all last night, it is not. She obviously took it down Monday or sometime after Monday when she last talked to Miss Burris when she was making arrangements to be picked up from Nashville, Tennessee. There is no Mohawk dyeing profile up on Facebook. And why is that? The last profile up of Miss Antoinette Smith is of 2 years ago, and it dates back to January of 2018. And you will see photographs of her with the said baby Sergio. At this time, he was an infant. When Googling any updates on the stories, the only thing I could come up with is the CTV News, and it is stating that there is potential of other suspects involved in the case. The case is still being investigated. The boy is in good spirits and reunited. I mean, he's currently, with CPS, and CPS will determine if it is proper to give him back to the mother, and or the family. Nitra, I stayed up all night into daylight listening to Miss Burris's Facebook Live. I'll take these out because I'm done reading. I stayed up late watching the live because I wanted to bring you all the information early today to get it out to you guys and other people who can watch this said video on YouTube. And you are right. Listening to her own words versus someone repeating it in an article is totally different. And it is always best when you can hear said commentary from the horse's mouth. I say that about anything. I want to hear the person say it. I want to hear how they say it. I want to look at their face. I want to look in their eyes when they tell me what the hell happened to them, those, which and so ever. Now, mind you, we do not get a visual of Miss Antoinette Smith, but we hear her in audio talking to Miss Barbara Burris during a Facebook Live because Miss Burris likes to record all her business on Facebook Live, I guess for verification, which in this day and time, rightfully so. Something is off. Just Queen, thank you. Super Chatter Queen, thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Yes, the Super Chat is on. If you like the Super Chatter Queen, I will kindly take it. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. This is a baffling story. Hello, Palace and Pugs. Hello, Nitra, Pretty Baby Elephant. I won't leave anybody out. Just Queen, thank you so much for joining me. Something is not right with the story. As I told you in the video earlier, I talked to my deacon today because we went out briefly today on an errand, and I was trying to repeat the story to him. And at first he didn't know where I was going when I was trying to say, what do you think of the story? He was kind of saying, well, what do you mean? I said, well, what do you think? So finally I said, do you believe what she said? Now, this is a man's opinion, a 70-plus-year-old man. And he says, no. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, baby. He said to me, my deacon said, I don't believe her. I don't believe what happened in Nashville. I said, why? He said, because it doesn't sound right to me. Now, this is a man's opinion. And I always like to get opinion from a man. You understand what I'm saying? About anything. Relationships, courtships, any subject matter. Because I have a good relationship with my deacon. So I talk to him about various things that I go through in life, scenarios, Okay, well, see, that's the thing about that nature. Most people, if they're inviting you somewhere, common sense will tell you you don't need any money. Okay? But people will tell you also you should take money with you just in case something pops off. But if you don't have any money, you let the person know who's inviting you somewhere, hey, I don't have any extra funds to drink, eat, or whatever. But we know that when someone invites you somewhere, whether it's to Applebee's, McDonald's, or to Nashville, you are assuming they are spending their money on you if that's what you told me or them. Hey, let's ride out. I got you. I'm going to take you out to eat. Well, see, the thing about the kidnapping and all that, let me say this. Each article that you pull up in Google is starting to has the mentioning of kidnapping of the child. And that's where I also have a problem. How is it that the child was kidnapped when you willingly said in the live, Miss Smith, that you took your baby to that guy's grandparents' house? You said you were with him. That's what you told Miss Burris. So how can the child be kidnapped if you took the child there? Well, what I believe is what she said out her own mouth. I took my baby to his grandparents' house and dropped my baby off. And I also believe she willingly went to Nashville, Tennessee to do something. Well, see, I don't know about that text message you're talking about. I haven't heard anything about that. In the text message, she said the guy drugged her and kidnapped her. I haven't heard anything about that, so I can't verify anything about text messages where she's allegedly been drugged. I haven't heard of anything about that, so I'd like to know where you got that information from, Queen. It was on Barbara's screen. Okay, I must have missed that because really I was letting the phone lie on my nightstand while I listened to it this morning because I was not about to sit up and hold no phone for no 2 hours. Listening to somebody talk and listen to her talk. Okay, Barbara showed her messages. Okay, so I missed that. That she's saying that she was drugged and kidnapped. So now you see that's still conflicting. Because you can't be what? Willingly go somewhere with somebody and then say what? They drugged you at what point? Because at some point you're going to have to say at what point you were drugged. But do you remember in the live, she does not mention being drugged. I do not remember hearing her say she was drugged. I just heard her say, we went out, we had drinks, and next thing I know, he said, I can't go. And it was a pause. And it was like she was alluding to the fact he was saying, I ain't going back empty-handed. And then he tells her something about the baby is with the girlfriend instead of the sister. Oh, that came before. See, that makes no sense to me. Why is he mentioning to her out of the blue in any context that, hey, by the way, your baby's at my grandmama's house, but it ain't with my sister, it's with my lady. So now what am I to believe? That his girlfriend stayed with the grandmama? Why would you lie to her in the beginning that girl at the house was your sister? Why would you tell her that? Unless, see, none of this makes any sense. Even if you had intentions to use her for human trafficking, prostitution, whichever term you like to use, why does it matter who the hell you gonna say who's with the baby? Sister, brother, cousin, auntie. See, this makes no sense to me. Why did he lie that it was his sister in the beginning, allegedly? Why did they get to Nashville and he decides to spring on her? Oh, by the way, it's my sister. I mean, it's my girlfriend, not my sister. Y'all staying with me because I'm lost reading this. Why would he say that? Why did she get in a car with a stranger at that store? Why would you get in a car with men when you just got duped by a man? Then you lay in this car allegedly at a shelter's parking lot. Am I repeating this correctly? In the car with strangers overnight when you have just been duped by a male. Right. I'm going to get to that, Miss Mitra. Then he takes you Like savings time from that location from the shelter parking lot to a store. He lets you out at that store, and then you get in the car with another male who you tell you are stranded. You don't know anybody. You're trying to get to your son in Memphis, South Haven, which is so ever. Right. It was a men's shelter, parking lot, whatever it was, because it's not making no sense. So even repeating it doesn't make any sense. Get in the store, get in the car at store one. Go from that store to a shelter parking lot or whatever and stayed in the car. Got up the next morning, went to store number two. Got out of that car, stood outside. Another person comes along, a male. She spins her story to him. He takes her home to his wife to clean her up, babe, whatsoever. And this is where she's allegedly picked up from by Miss Ida, who's an acquaintance of Miss Burris, the activist out of Memphis. That's why I tell you, go watch the said Facebook Live yourself to see, because you know I don't show videos and things on my channel. You can draw from your own conclusion what you think of the Facebook Live. I am befuddled at this moment. I do not know what to think of the Facebook Live. It was very short and brief, but I have gathered from what she is saying inconsistencies that don't make sense. Leaving the child alone with strangers and you didn't know them didn't make any sense. Going up there, what was the purpose of going? Did you know why you were going there, Miss Patricia? Miss Antoinette. I'm saying Patricia. Antoinette, did you know why you were going there? Something jump off there? Did you two have an altercation? Did you take something that didn't belong to you? He got mad. You ran off. What really happened? What is this now Nietzsche's talking about on the screen about you being drugged? Were you drugged? Were you drugged? Or did you willingly go? Right. So you go up here to another city 3 hours away with somebody who used you allegedly, drugged you allegedly. Now you're making claims that the child was kidnapped, which that doesn't make any sense to me, because how was the child kidnapped when you tell in the live you willingly took the child with the said guy to his family's home and dropped off your child? So that's not kidnapping. That's not kidnapping. Did they do the wrong thing by taking the child to the Goodwill? Of course. Of course. Of course. But did you notify National Police that you have been bamboozled into riding to Nashville in lieu of being human trafficked? You see, that's who you should have called, was the police. And especially if you had been drugged, that suits the case up even better for the FBI and the South Haven, Mississippi police, because now National can bring in verification that, yes, we got them on video surveillance at this restaurant. Everything seemed copacetic. They walked out at this time. Do you see what I'm saying? If you were put out at a store, if there's surveillance there, they can show an altercation if you were having words with the guy, if he had put his hands on you, pushed you out the car. You see where I'm going with this? Did you call National Police to tell them that someone led you under false pretenses to Nashville to prostitute? Because you see, had you called them, I don't believe in my right mind that they would not have aided you to shelter overnight till you could have gotten away home. And they would have called area churches to get money to get you at least a bus ticket. And I didn't even know that you needed ID to buy a bus ticket. It's been so long since I rode a bus. It's been a few years ago. And I'm trying to remember, did I even use an ID? And I find that out as well. You travel 3 hours without an ID. Well, I don't know if they want to be about that life. I don't know what you call that life. What kind of life is this? Riding 3 hours to drink from Memphis? We're going to ride 3 hours to just go drink? Well, see, she kept saying she tried everything with Nashville police. But as I always tell you all, I decipher everything from the top to the bottom. I don't leave a stone unturned when a story is repeated. So when a person says, I tried everything, you're not telling me what you tried. You see, in trying means you have to do something. So what did you do, Miss Smith? Did you call 911 in Nashville, Tennessee to say you were misled and brought to that city to prostitute and you had been drugged by the person you were with and left behind? And as I state, had she done that, police would have gotten involved in taking her to safety to get her back to South Haven or Memphis or whichsoever, wherever she stays. And that's where the problem comes in. Going from car to car after being duped by somebody who you thought you knew was dangerous because you could not have made it back. There wouldn't have been no way to reach you through Messenger if you were dead or gurgling on air somewhere, thrown out, stuffed in something. I'm keeping this real because this is outrageous. And the fact that you mentioned on that live that you had 4 of the children and that they were in a similar situation, but once again, you deflected and did not elaborate to Miss Burris what you meant. You see, the queen don't miss anything. What did you mean by that, Miss Smith? Your other children have been in a similar situation. So what you're saying, you have left your other children with strangers who turned out to be somebody else? Come again? I'm still asking. Where are your other children? Well, that's all it was. She tried to ask her what happened. But you see, when you're asking somebody what happened, you have to be detailed in what you're asking. Because see, if you don't ask specific questions, the person will talk around the subject. A person will dance around the subject. Hello, humbly melanated. Thanks for joining us. They will talk around the subject. And that's the point. You have to ask specific questions. What time did you get to the grandparents' house? Who was at the house? Who all was there? Who did you leave the child with? What time did you leave? What time did you get on the highway? Where did you go when you got to Nashville? What time did you get to Nashville? What restaurant did you go in? What bar did you go in? Did you get a room? What day did you get to Nashville? Hey, y'all ain't thought about that. How long were you in Nashville, Tennessee? See, ain't nobody thought about that. You just listen at her say, Sunday we got there. But were you there longer? Did you get there before Sunday? Because as I told you all, Sunday is an odd day to just roll up in the city 3 hours away just to have drinks. Memphis is a bustling city, and they have nothing but dives and lounges and places to go to drink. Okay? So I'm not about to believe Memphis does not have nice places to go get a drink early on, even with the COVID hours. Nowhere outside of Memphis that you can go to a suburb and go get drinks. You could cross over to Mississippi. You could cross over to Arkansas. You can come on up the highway a little way towards Jackson. You understand what I'm saying? You can go either direction, but it ain't had to be 3 hours. And I'm not trying to make this sister out to be a liar, but what I'm saying is, what she has said in the live makes no sense to me. And she could be telling the truth. I do not know. Well, that's the reason why Miss Ida took somebody else with her. She knew what she was doing, Nitra. She knew to put somebody else in that car in case it was a ruse. But you always have to remember, they reached out to her. She didn't reach out to them, from my understanding. And that's another thing. Why did these people, Miss Beers, want to get involved in this? Well, she said she's trying to help people. I'm not trying to throw any shade, but I'm analytical. I dissect everything and I chop it up from the top to the bottom. That's just who the queen is. Why do you feel the need to get involved with this female that you don't know anything about? She's a random person who got allegedly stranded in Nashville, and her child was dropped off at a Goodwill. Now I understand you got involved because of the child. You were concerned about the child. And I think that was your motive, I'm assuming, to get involved because of the child. But what I'm still saying is you don't know the mother. And the fact that the mother admitted in your other live when you all were praying for her, when you got to the house, you were praying that she gets a house, praying that she gets a job, praying for her other children, praying for the court hearing that's coming up or has come up. I understand that, Nitra. Nitra, I understand all of that, baby. But what I'm saying still, you have to be very careful about getting involved with strange people you do not know. Because we've heard 1,000 times of people run into the people's inboxes because of stuff they posted on Facebook. And then as they start dealing with them, they start seeing stuff that don't look right. And now they're immersed into this person's drama. And they only wanted to help. And that's what I'm leery about. Because I'm listening to her own words about the other children. When she says, oh, this has happened similar to them. And then we realize she don't have custody of them, obviously, because she said she's staying with a relative. That's another thing. Who are you living with? And why couldn't one of those people keep your children? That was mentioned in the live. She's living with a relative. Oh, Barbara caught backlash. Okay, well, I don't know, because like I said, I don't do Facebook pages and go from page to page. Well, humbly, like I said, everything is a question mark from the jump. Why you went up there with the dude? How did you get tangled up with the dude? How long have you been talking on the phone with the dude? How long have y'all been messing around, seeing each other, conversating to lead to you leaving your baby with a stranger, jumping in a car to go way up there to Nashville, 3 hours to get duped allegedly? How did you go from zip, 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 one thing to the next to then be stranded? Now you got to worry about you could be facing charges depending on what the investigators find. You also have to worry about, will the state give your child back depending on what they find in the investigation? Your past will come up. So who knows what the queen has been doing while in the Memphis area and before that. Well, because people are skeptical. You see, we live in a world where people don't believe everything that they hear. And that's why they say nasty things. They say negative things. You have people who, some people can say, oh, they're bitter, they're this, they don't have a kind bone. Well, some people may say that about me. Well, you're a little cynical. You're a little, no queen, no king. Big ants just don't believe everything that come out of your mouth. But that's just who I am. And I speak from experience. I don't speak from assumptions. It's from everyday living around two-legged creatures that I draw my experience and my knowledge. And I know that a lot of people will say anything to get attention. They'll say anything to get out of trouble. Say anything to get pity. And I'm not saying this is this lady. I'm just speaking in general terms, that you do not know people and you do not know the circumstances, and you can go in with a good heart and spirit, but get yourself wrapped up into something you can't get out of because you went out on a limb trying to help someone. And you see this happening every day with people trying to help random people, being nice to people. And now they're wrapped up in stuff because they were lending aid. And you hear Miss Ida saying that too, about getting involved. I'm not going to get any trouble, am I? Well, hell, we don't know yet. But you did the right thing. You did what you thought was right. So I can't get mad at that lady for wanting to get involved and go up there and help that lady. That was her choice. That was both of their choices to get involved. But what I'm saying is, from the own horse's mouth to me, Miss Smith was not specific in her commentary about what happened on Sunday or whichever day it was. Because like I said, what do you really have to go on as far as drug allegation, how long she was actually in Nashville? See, some people, you ain't thought about none of that. Because like I told you, read between the lines. Sunday's an odd day to just roll out 3 hours away just to go have drinks. And I'm not saying people don't roll out on a Sunday to go have dinner in a neighboring town. But the fact that how this allegedly jumped off, you do have to question what really took place. And like I said, for her sake, I hope she is telling the truth, because this child needs a parent. Her other children need a mother, and where they are, I do not know. And that's baffling to me as well, that this woman, who I don't even know how old she is, why does she not have a place to live with her name on the deed or a lease? Why does she not have a job? Where are her other children? See, ain't nobody asking none of that. You know, it's all, we were worried about the boy and this, that, and the other. Well, the little boy, fine, by the grace of God. But what about this other stuff? You have to be somewhat curious. Where are the other children? How long have you been living in Memphis? How long have you been without a job, money, car, this, that, and the other? Why are you staying with somebody who you couldn't have left your child with for a day? That's odd to me. This issue about the sister trying to go to court, need a ride to court, if I heard that correctly. Well, why that certain sister couldn't keep your child? The friend who allegedly was supposed to go up there. Yeah, I'm talking about her too. And Renee. She couldn't keep your baby? But yet you calling her all day, conversing with her, trying to get away from up there. She act like she was going to go get you. And then next thing you know, she talking in circles with Miss Barbara. Then she waiting on this, and Pookie got to come home and get a ride and get off work. Then I thought, see, right there. This is ridiculous. Okay, Nitra said she wasn't going no way. Well, see, Nitra, this is what I'm saying. Why say you're going to go pick the girl up when you knew you weren't going to go? See, that's something I don't like. Don't tell me you're going to do something, you're not going to do it. And in this situation, this was a serious situation. The girl is stranded. So why you want to sit there and have your friend laying up around strangers all damn day, waiting on a ride? She don't know these people. They could have done anything to her. Well, it could have been just for clout, just to immerse herself in the situation and you know, try to make people think she was, you know, caring about her friend. And then, woo, 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 when you start saying, okay, you on your way, hey, you need us to meet you here, hey, you got your cash out, hey. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, everything changes. And that girl was foul for even saying she would go get her. She shouldn't have said nothing. What she should have been was just a listening ear to Miss Smith. I care about you, hon, but I can't come get you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought about a comment that was made. Patricia said she was trying to get out of a life she was already in. And that could be possibly true, what you just said. She's already been living a not so great life, a foul life, street life. And she was caught up when she got tangled up with this dude. And another thing I want to say that ain't nobody thought about, since we've been talking about this subject since Monday. And I can't believe ain't none of you thought about it. I told you I don't leave a stone unturned. What made that dude assume you would go out there and prostitute? What was it about Antoinette Smith that led this guy to say, I'm going to ask her to go out there and work for me and bring me she money our way? Nobody thought about that. Nietzsche said she asked it. But I'm just saying, I didn't mention it in the video earlier or upload it. But think about it. What was it about Miss Smith that this joker felt like he could ask her, whether it was beforehand, to ask this girl to work for him, sell her body, and give him the money? Well, you should have mentioned it. Because you got to think about that. What did I tell you all last night about the art of the hustle? It ain't a hustle until you get a willing participant. Hello? It ain't a con until you get a willing participant. So you see, you got to be tried in order for the con to work. That was so strange. He seen something in her character or mannerisms. Right, humbly. That's the point. Something about her made him think she was down with going out of town and working the streets. And let's keep that 100. And I'm not saying he wouldn't have tried another female who may have acted or appeared different. But what I'm saying is, people watch you, how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself, and they will try you. And then you got some that are so thirsty, they will try anybody. It doesn't matter if you are a nun, a priest, a rabbi, Christian, non-Christian. You see where I'm going? Hey, let me see. Because that's the art of the con. I'm trying to get on, and I got to try somebody. Right. Go for the vulnerable. And that's what I was thinking to myself was she living a lifestyle conducive to working the street? Well, my thing is this. Something went on in their conversations. And now that the FBI is involved, 3 agencies are involved in this case, a whole lot is probably going to come out because naturally they're going to seize the records of the guy who allegedly took her to Nashville. If he's also the same one that rammed the car into the deputy's cars, they're going to look at everybody else's records. She had him believe they were Bonnie and Clyde. Okay, Patricia, now y'all showing out. Come on now. Come on. Well, it wasn't no Bonnie and Clyde situation, as you can see. But seriously, this is a whack case. It's odd to me. Very peculiar. And hearing it out of the horse's mouth, what she said allegedly happened, there's too many gaping holes, and it's too much that doesn't make sense. And I just cannot believe no woman would get stranded and risk getting in the car with 2 different men thereafter being dropped off by somebody who they thought was their friend. Say what about the baby? I'm going back in your comments. Keep it from the baby. Well, the girlfriend was foolish. Well, first of all, as I state, everything's going to come out in the phone records. Who said what to whom, who asked whom what. And we already know that once they start separating, this is when people start talking and telling on themselves. No, I don't think the other kid's in her custody because she made a comment of saying he's all I got. So when she said that, naturally, the outsiders, we did not know she had other children, see. So when she said he's all I got, it's not until you start going to Facebook and looking up stuff on Facebook is when you realize she had other children. So then you realize, well, she couldn't have had all her kids because she was saying she was living with somebody else. And she's stating he's all she got. So my thing means what? When you say all I got means that's the only one. But then we find out you got 4 children. So you ain't claiming them. It's all you got. Don't you find that odd? She got other children, but she's not claiming that they are all she has. Or she was speaking literal. He's the only one I have in my custody. She did play a serious game. Because no matter if she went there deliberately to prostitute or unwillingly, anything could have jumped off. And for all we know, something did jump off in Nashville. And we don't know the whole story. Because something could have jumped off. And that's how she got left in the first place. Because as I state, the story sounds odd and something is missing from the story. Because I just don't believe this guy hooked up with her and looked at her and said, I'm going to get this girl to work for me. Well, if that's the whole point. But what does she mean it happened with the other children? A similar situation. How did your children get in a similar situation of being with somebody else and what? Dropped off to the police station or CPS was called? What you saying? See, because she didn't elaborate. And she probably didn't want to elaborate. And don't you find it interesting? The Facebook page is no longer up. She no longer has the Mohawk Dime page up. But what I don't understand too is why are you telling people that your child was kidnapped? You know, that's a dangerous game to play. You've already been playing a dangerous game with this dude and these other people. Now to say they kidnapped your child, you're going to have to prove that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hold on a minute. I'm going to check my lighting here. Sorry about that. You're going to have to prove your child was kidnapped. And you just went on a live, and Barbara has recorded it, and you're telling this lady and other people, I took my child there. Like I said, the only thing those people are guilty of is taking the child to a Goodwill and dropping them off. So they can face, abandonment charges for dropping the child off in a unsecure location and not reporting it to the police. They'll save themselves that charge by saying, oh, we knew of her, we had this, woo, woo, woo. She dropped the baby off, she never came back. And see, that's another thing nobody thought about either in this scenario. What if it's bigger than what we know? Just saying. What if she was supposed to came back at a certain time with dude and didn't come back, and the people at the house got mad and took the child there? But then they say the guy that was with her was allegedly in the car. So that's obviously can't be true. So see, you don't know what to believe. Because Miss Barbara let that be known, saying, oh, he was the one getting out the car with the girl. And that's when she said, oh, really? Yeah, really. Because this is crazy. That did dawn on me. Maybe she was supposed to come back at a certain time and get her child, and she didn't come back. Did that ever occur to any of you? Who's to say she did go along for the ride, knowing what was going to jump out as far as the business aspect, and then she decided to dupe dude, do her own thing, and she willingly left her child behind. Some people will judge us and say, well, you shouldn't be saying those things about her. You shouldn't say negative things that she couldn't be telling the truth, blah, blah, blah. Patricia said she abandoned her baby. Okay, so I was going to ask some of you in the chat, what do you think? Do you think this was a deliberate abandonment on the part of Miss Patricia? I mean, Antoinette. Oh, I keep want to say Patricia. I'm getting mixed up in my brain because I keep looking at you guys' name. Miss Smith, excuse me. Do you think Miss Smith deliberately tried to abandon her child? Patricia like, oh, no, don't do that to me. I'm sorry. So Patricia thinks the baby was abandoned on purpose. What do you think, Nitra and Palette and everybody else in the chat? I have 11 in the room and 13 thumbs up. Nietzsche says anything could be possible. Humbly says, I do. Okay, Lita, hello. Lita says she agrees. So you got at least 4 of you that think she deliberately left her child behind and did not care. So my thing is this. Then what was the ultimate plan then? You deliberately left your baby there for as when we say deliberate, are we saying for somebody to keep the child for a couple of days, a day, and or she gonna come back and get the kid, and or I'm done? We all entitled to our opinion, is what I tell people. No one is exempt from wondering about anything that goes on in the world. And my thing is, once it is made national news, you can't tell a person how to think. You can't tell a person how to weigh the subject matter. Because if a person didn't want their business, yeah, I'm saying that, out on Front Street, they would keep it to themselves. So when you go out here, ride or die with folks, gang banging, conspiracy, drug trafficking, aiding and abetting, you are asking to make the news. That's just common sense. And you can't get angry that your life has been put on national news when you did that. You got yourself immersed in something that was wrong 9 times out of 10, and the house of cards fell. And now your business is out there about fat life. You know what? Okay. Maybe she was supposed to get paid for the deed was short and she did this. She left the baby a change of clothes so she wasn't coming back to the next day. Okay, and I thought about that as well. Why did the baby have a change of clothes if you just going up the road to drink and come on back? This is why I kept trying to tell y'all it might be bigger than you think. It may be that they were gone before Sunday. Y'all didn't think about that? You all didn't think that possibly Queen been up there before Sunday? I'm just saying. Because as you say, the baby having to change of clothes, why would the baby need to change of clothes if you're only going somewhere for a couple hours and you're returning back the same day? Is it possible that she had already been in Nashville on Friday, Saturday? You said the change of clothes is understandable. What you mean, Lita? What you saying? Understandable like what? In case the baby used the bathroom on himself? If he's not properly potty trained? Okay, so Humbly said you just took clothes just because it's a child. Okay, I get it. But, right, kids have accidents. This is true. So, see, that's the thing. You don't know what to think. If it was just a matter of, like you said, change of clothes just because he could wet himself. But I tell you what is sad is when they said in an article that the baby didn't even have socks on. So you just gathered him up with his little outfit on, and you didn't even put socks on the baby? Or did she take him to the house without socks? Because he had on like a little winter outfit, like a little hoodie, zip up hoodie and sweatshirt and sweatpants. So where were his socks? And do you know how afraid he had to be staying in some people's house he don't know that we know of? Because we don't know if he's been to this house beforehand. But let's just say he hadn't. He's around strange people he don't know, sleeping in a house he don't know. Then he's shuffled into a car and taken to a damn donation center like he trash. Like he is trash. That's deep. That is so damn deep. To do this baby like this. This is what I'm saying about anybody wanting to get involved. You don't know this lady. And it's not to throw shade at her, but it's common sense. You do not know how she was living. You do not know if she has done this before with this child. You do not know if she has done this to her other children, the reason she don't have them. You do not know her. And who's to say what the hell popped off after she got dropped off at the store? Because let me tell you, I did not want to say anything negative, but I'm very leery about that. I'm very leery about what actually transpired when she got in the car with guy number one. And possibly guy number two. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking the average woman would be leery to get in a car with other men after being duped by one guy who she thought she knew. So now Nitra's saying the girl told more than one story. Well, what are the other stories that she told Nitra? I'm just asking. What are the other stories, honey? This is one for the books. Like my deacon said today, he said, my goodness, it's like a movie. And he didn't get but 2% of the story. I said, baby, let me tell you, this is Lifetime all day long. This is Lifetime times 12. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? The producers are on the way because this is wicked. And the fact that this article I just brought you by CTV News says they believe others are involved in the case. So hell, who you talking about now? The other guy and the girl? The mother? Who? Oh, so now Nitra's saying something about she told some guy that she and the baby had been kidnapped. Well, see, that's funky fishy too, because what you've got to ask yourself is this: how your baby is in one place, somewhere in the Memphis and South Haven area, and then your body is way up here 3 hours away in Western Tennessee. Why are you and the child separated? Why would you and the child be kidnapped? And why would you two be separated? Just think about that for a minute. What is the game to kidnap Miss Antoinette Smith and Sergio Smith? What would be the motive to kidnap mother and child? Nitra says, I think she's been lying. Well, I think we all know, as I stated, something is up with the story because she was not specific in her interview with Miss Burris. She did not give specifics like most people talk. It's like when you go to court. You don't know that you're only supposed to answer the question asked by the judge. We as humans talk. So we talk all around and over and bring extra stuff in explaining how a crime or something happened. We gonna tell we went to Kroger first, we stopped over here, we did this, we answered the phone, we sent the text, then I looked out the window, then I saw somebody screaming. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what we do. We talk all over. But in a court of law, you're only supposed to answer the question that has been asked of you. He didn't ask you what color dress you had on. He'll just say, what were you doing at the time when Joe Blow was shot? He didn't ask you what you was watching on TV. He asked you what color shoes you had on. You see where I'm going? But we as humans like to tell extra stuff. If you notice in that live, she did not. She did not. And that's what made me leery of the story. Why would you bring a child if you just riding out? Well, Patricia, we know she's not going to take her child to spend time with the man unless he said, well, I don't mind if you bring your baby, but we already know if a guy is trying to take you out, spend time with you, he's not going to want your child along. Okay, Patricia said she knew she was staying. Well, that's my point. That's why the baby had clothes, I still believe. I'm trying to debate in my head if she just let the child stay there because she didn't have nobody else to keep her child, or maybe she asked someone. We didn't even think of that. Perhaps she asked someone, hey, can you keep my baby for a day or two? I'm getting ready to go up here to Nashville with a friend. And maybe somebody told her, no, I can't keep your kid. But like I said, she alludes to the fact that she stayed with somebody. So why couldn't that somebody keep her kid? See, don't you find that odd? You're living with a family member and they can't keep your baby for a couple of hours? Or are you the type that you leave your baby all the time? And this one time you asked, they said, no, honey, you can take your baby with you. See, we don't know. We do not know this lady. And that's the gist of the story, quite frankly. Nobody knows this lady but the people who dealt with her one-on-one. But we as outsiders don't know her. That's why in the Newsbreak article, people judged her so harshly when they heard about the baby being left at the Goodwill donation drop. They just put it all on her, whom she stayed with. Well, see, that don't make any sense what you're saying, baby. That don't make no sense. Well, because you got to think about it. You got to decide, depending on the information, if it's true that she didn't know what she was going to Nashville for, and that she took a chance by letting these strangers keep her child because she was cool with this dude and just trusted that this was his sister. And that's why I said, is it true that she went to go to Nashville on a date? She trusted this guy, family, to keep her kid. They're coming right back. She get her baby and go about her business. But see, that's the whole point of the story. We do not know if what she said is true or not. And I find it odd that he's saying, oh, that's my old lady. So why would somebody just out of the blue, who's taking you on a date, flip on you and tell you that, oh, by the way, you've been hoodwinked. Aha, that's my woman. And oh, by the way, I want you to go work the street. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Why that conversation is ridiculous. And I ain't saying a Negro ain't cold, but it doesn't make any sense to take me 3 hours and then say, oh, by the way, that's my old lady got your kid. Okay, well, what difference would it make if it was the old lady? Okay, so, hell, I didn't know your sister. I didn't know if it was your sister. But I get her point if that's true. Well, I thought that was your sister. So now Patricia said she could have mental health issues. I don't know what to think. I'm telling you the truth. Because my mind weighs in different directions. Could be the truth what she said, but some of me is saying it's just something about the leaving the kid, the comment about the other children being in a similar situation, the fact she don't have her children, the fact she don't have her own home, job, staying with somebody else. We already know you can easily get hood, having a child. Come on, y'all. Do the math. Do the math. You leave this child with these people you do not know. You go run up the highway with this guy. Something jumps off in Nashville. He leaves you. You jump in a car with 2 different men. Thereafter, when you just been hoodwinked and bamboozled by somebody that you thought you knew. Come on now. Because for safety reasons, you should have called the police, because you don't know them people in Nashville. You don't know them. Now, Patricia said she had nothing to lose. Well, nothing to lose means I don't give a damn. Humbly says too many unanswered questions. Well, and that's the point of this story. It ain't adding up. And to say you were kidnapped, you're going to have to prove that. Because you willingly went on a live and said, I got in the car with him I drove to his grandmother's house and dropped off my child, and I willingly got back in the car and went up the highway. So now you're trying to say what? You were held against your will in Nashville after you got your drinks? And what? You ran for your life because he tried to prostitute you out? So how is the child being kidnapped? Hey, Joelle. That's right. I'm late coming in. I'm late on myself, baby. Thanks for joining us. See, that's another thing. Oh, you talking about losing a child. She did have something to lose. Okay, her baby. Okay, right. But see, this is why she's being judged. That's why people in the comment section were making fun of what she said. He's all I got. People are saying to themselves, well, if he's all you got, why the hell would you drop your baby off with these people you didn't know and then go up the highway with a guy you really didn't know? But as I tell you, we as people make mistakes. We do crazy stuff. I've said it. Get in calls with people, invite people to your house, have people come in, help you do stuff you really don't know them. You just may see them around the way, the block, the apartment complex, the neighborhood. Okay, yeah, bring the ladder over, help me hammer, put up some curtains. People do it all the time. And nobody can ever say they have not let strangers in their house. You have not picked up a stranger. You have not talked to a stranger at your door, your mailbox. You talk to strangers every day. Even the ones that say they know you and you know them. You really don't know them. You don't know anybody. The sad thing is, if this is all true, she trusted the guy and she went up there to that place and got bamboozled. Well, Nitra, first we got to find out if everything she's saying is the truth. Because like I said, what will be sad is if the child is given back and then there's another jump off. And maybe next time it won't have a happy ending, such as the baby being in state's care. You understand what I'm saying? Because my right mind is telling me she perhaps wasn't living right. And that's what got her in this situation in the first place. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I'm just saying, I just got a funky feeling. It could be she just wasn't living right. And he took advantage of that situation because he knew she wasn't living right. He thought she was that type of girl that would get down like that. And so he took her up there to work her. Because let me tell you, there's just certain type of women a dude knows not to ask that type of question to. Oh, Lord. A utility man calls prisoner to work programs. Well, I can't believe this. A city would hire no felons anyway, not to do no utility work where you got to go in people's houses. I find that odd. I can't see them hiring no felons to do that. Maybe yard work, outdoor work, but not going in somebody's house. Well, that's the gist. That is what my live is about today. The guy who left his child in a hot car, seeking a new trial. It's a 3-day hearing. It started on the 14th. Mr. Justin Ross Harris, he's a Caucasian white male. He's trying to get another trial. And then I'm bringing up the said information pertaining to Antoinette Smith, who claims she was left in Nashville, Tennessee under false pretenses to prostitute, and her child was found at a South Haven, Mississippi Goodwill donation center. And now this also claims that she and both the child were kidnapped. Let me see this comment. One of you said. Mine wasn't the type at his age to be dropped off with just anyone. Holler the hell. I know all children aren't the same, but it makes me wonder if she had around strangers a lot. And that's why I made the comment that I just said. We do not know who she is as a person, her demeanor. So perhaps she is living a certain lifestyle that got her in this situation in the first place. Perhaps Miss Smith has been living on the edge, dealing with all types of Tom, Dicks, and Harrys, and running around with different kind of people, leaving her baby with different kind of people, taking her baby around different kind of people, hopping in and out of cars, going places. I don't know, but I'm just saying that could be the life she's living. We do not know. We do not know. I just pray for her sake she's not, because she has a child. Now, you want to live that kind of life, that pillar to post life and single, by all means. Because I tell people that all the time, that when you're single, you can do what you want. You only want to have one orange in the refrigerator, one soda pop in there. Don't buy you no food, no groceries, no toilet paper. Hey, that is you. But once you have children, you have to keep necessities. You have to watch the company you keep. You can't have everybody in and out of your home. You cannot be leaving your baby anywhere. And you got to try to act like you got some damn sense about yourself. And of course, what I'm saying is neither here nor there, because we have all kind of people raising children, crazy attitudes, dispositions, flawed, all of that. But as they say, how you live single is not how you live with children. It's not how you live when you're married. It's all the same. You have got to change. Some of you like to smoke marijuana. Some of you like to pop pills. Some of you like to snort, powder, smoke crack, heroin, all of that. Well, guess what? It's not recommended to do it, period. But you single, you do what you want. But you can't do that with babies. Can't snort powder with babies. Can't lay up and smoke a blunt all day with a baby. Children. You understand what I'm saying? Can't get high all day. Can't drink all day. Can't have everybody running out your house. Using your car. You jumping in and out of cars, out of houses, out of neighborhoods, running in and out. Nobody can find you. That's what I'm saying. You want to live that street life? Do it on your own time. Do it while you're single. But you don't need to be doing it with a child. You don't need to be doing it in a relationship. You don't need to be doing it if you're married. Because now you're involving other people in your foolish ways. And they didn't sign up for that. Children don't ask to be here. And I've always said that about living on the edge. You can do whatever you like to do. I don't tell nobody grown what the hell they should do. Hey, like I told y'all, I know somebody 60 that still want to get high and think it's cute and think it's funny. Hey, knock yourself out. That's on him. But it's wrong if you had children and you geeking and want to stay high. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not accusing this lady of being a drug addict or flip-flopping around with different folks. All I'm saying is it is a question at the moment because we don't know her. So naturally, you're going to wonder all types of things. And I only wondered if she's lived a certain type of lifestyle because of the comment that was made about the children being in a similar situation. And that kind of, floored me like, well, wow, what do you mean by that? What type of situation you've put those other kids in? Oh, Patricia, God, hallelujah. What you have in church and cussing at the same time? Don't start no mess. I am 1 hour and 13 minutes into the chat. 15 thumbs up, 14 in the house, and a super chat. Thank you all so much. I don't know what else to discuss in this live, but I tell you what, this is as I said, I went seeking information before jumping on to see if I can bring you anything extra. So far, nothing. But I am looking forward to hearing about the hearing pertaining to the child. Well, children will repeat what you do. That's the whole point of life. You make mistakes, and you do them around your kids. 9 times out of 10, your kids going to do the same thing. If you were a drinker, a smoker, or drugs, or bad attitude, you cuss, you fuss, you're depressed. You likely to have a depressed child. You angry, you liable to have an angry child. This is common sense. And it's not saying that you can't have children that's opposite of your demeanor. Loud parents can have quiet children. Grow up quiet, mild-mannered, meek. It is how the child chooses to live once he becomes an adult. Naturally, his attitude and disposition is formed from the time he's in the womb till he gets out, grows up in the said household. He picks up little things that you say and you do, and he carries them with him. And he may not start acting out until way up, 30, 40. It just depends on the person. Mental issues. People don't find out they have schizophrenic till later in life. Then they find out that their mother or their father was schizophrenic or bipolar or had some type of mental disorder. You never know how things are going to turn out. Because dude was thrown. Well, the case gonna go in our favor. But we will see what happens. All I can say is somebody be real sick. They found out homegirl been making this up. That would be a travesty. That she willingly went up there to do that and willingly left her kid there. And like I said, who's to say she wasn't gone longer than the one day? Y'all better stay woke. I'm just saying. Something's missing in this story. What it is, I do not know. What it is, I do not know. But it is something off, very off with this story. I read one of her Facebook posts from 2018. Queen could go ham now. She could go ham. She had a little spunk about her. Had a little mouth with her. Saying some stuff about a brother going over to a neighbor's house trying to get a roach or something. And the boyfriend that opened the door had words with the brother. And she started cussing the girl out on Facebook. I said, ooh, ratchet. Ratchet. Because you know how I feel about Facebook and airing your business out on Facebook and fussing and cussing on Facebook. And that queen got down with that arguing on Facebook with the he said, she said. And I thought to myself, not good. Well, that was 2 years ago or so. But nonetheless, she left her small town, moved to Memphis allegedly to get a better life, a better start. Of course, we know how dangerous Memphis, Tennessee is. It's a very dangerous city. So you have to be on your P's and Q's and really watch what you're doing, how you talking, and the company you keep. Because I've learned from watching First 48, you can be from New York, Detroit, but they can send you back in a bag back up north. Because I remember an episode. Young guy was down there, got himself tangled up fooling with a woman, and she murdered him. Because he was out there sleeping with everything with a skirt on. So you see, you just don't never know how things can turn out for you. Well, that's what I'm praying too, is that the right person gets custody of the child. I'm praying that a thorough investigation is done in pertaining to, her allegations of what happened in Nashville. And they checking all phone records and conversations to see who said what and match up who's telling the truth and who ain't telling the truth. It's like I said, my fear is that the child will get in her custody and maybe she's not fit to have him. That's my only fear. Now, police do their investigation and they coincide, tell the state, hey, we haven't found anything malicious or foul with the mother. You all can give her the okay to get her child back. Okay, then cool. But just don't throw no baby back in the wind because you don't want the state tallying up another child. Because I know how the state works. They don't like taking in nobody's kid. Yeah. They don't want to add no new kid to the system because that's money they have to spend. They have to find somewhere for that child to stay. They got to pray that somebody will keep the child long term. And we know that rarely happens with children. They will get rid of the child for some reason and pass it on to another foster home. And before you know it, a 2-year-old is now 10 and still don't have a said solid home. And that's a terrible way to grow up, being around different strange people, going in their houses, sleeping in their beds. I don't really think people really think about that with foster care. What foster children go through going from house to house, packing up a little suitcase because it didn't work out with this family. They had a disagreement. They didn't like the child's ways, this and that. Whatever the problem is, Now the baby goes to another house, and before you know it, like I said, what started out as a toddler going to a foster home, the toddler is now 10, 12 years old and don't have a family to call his or her own. And that's why I'm leery about this situation. I'm praying this child will not be that kid to end up going place to place because he can't stay with the mother or any family members. And I'm praying it doesn't happen. That's why I just was sick. Once I knew CPS had him, I thought, oh, Lord, here we go. Lord, please, let's get a resolution to this child because I don't want this child to end up in the system because they got enough children in the system as it is. But that's the said commentary. I'm 1 hour and 20 minutes in on the said storyline. I'm hoping for a resolution. I'm hoping that they give us an update to what is going on with the storyline with Miss Smith and the other suspects involved in dropping the child off at the Goodwill. I'm sure they're shaking in their boots. And I'm also wondering who's going to be the first one to tell what actually happened, to their knowledge. Because naturally, we don't know who knows what from South Haven to Nashville. The only person that can tell what actually happened in Nashville is the guy. Did he come back and tell the girlfriend friend what he did up there in Nashville? What is the truth? Is he going to tell it? Is Miss Smith telling us the truth about what happened in Nashville? And as I state, I hope for her sake that what she has said is the truth. Because that baby needs a parent. The baby needs a parent. And I won't doubt if they'll drug test her too. Just saying, you're dealing with the state. They have the right. They have a right to make you pee in that cup. And that's what I was thinking, Nitra. Miss Beers would be very, disappointed that she went out on a limb, reaching out to a stranger to help, and then to find out that, the girl's wrapped up in a certain type of lifestyle, lied about the storyline. But that's why I said you have to be very careful in aiding help to people because a lot of people really don't want your help. They may get themselves in a pickle, but they're not wanting the type of help that would better their lifestyle. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. And then when they mess up, go run to Pookie, Ray, Mary, and say, oh, help me, I'm stranded, I'm this, you know what I'm saying? You got people who do that. Yeah, I haven't watched that in a while. First 48. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that in a long, long time. I got it. Matter of fact, tonight I'm gonna try to watch a little true crime because I've been off true crime for about 2 weeks now. Oh Lordy, I'm not gonna stay on here much longer. So I want to start shortening my lives so other people can enjoy the lives without needing to get a blanket and covers and doze off, then come back, cut the live back on. Because as I say, 3 hours is too long to be on the live talking about said commentary. But I just wanted to jump on here, share with you all the latest updates in the news. There was another story I wanted to bring you about a babysitter down in Sandy Springs, Georgia, that is accused of killing a toddler too, I believe. But I didn't open that up because I was discussing, these two storylines, and I may jump off and just upload a video and not go live so I can knock the stories out. Because I try to knock down the stories in my notification if I deem them stories I think that you all will be interested in. But if you all don't have anything else you'd like to bring up in the chat, any other said information or storylines or updates to anything that I've discussed in my past lives, I will check out of here because I'm almost an hour and 30 minutes in. But I don't have anything new to talk about me per se. Nothing exciting to tell you guys. Nothing has changed with the queen. Nothing new has happened with me, which is probably a good thing. Everything is still the same. Haven't heard anything from anybody. And really in the end, I think everything happened the way it's supposed to happen. Show me, wasn't right for me. Wasn't right for me. Oh, wow. No, honey, I haven't. As I stated, he has pulled the stunt that he pulled when we first met, online, jumped off talk. I believe this, I'm going to be truthful. I think I was just set up. I honestly believe that. I think he willingly came back looking. I think he felt like, well, this girl isn't chasing me. She's not calling. She's not texting. What is it about me now? She ain't chasing me. What's up? And I think his ego was bruised. So he jumped back on. I took the bait, talked to him. He visited. Then he went on his merry way. And I think maybe he might not have liked the response I gave in the text on Saturday when I said, don't worry about it. Because I just asked one question: what time did you get there? I didn't think me asking that question would offend anybody, because my first text was just saying, hey, let me know if you're okay. And then finally he messaged back, oh, sorry, love, with the boys busy. Then I finally texted an hour or two later after that saying, well, what time did you get there? Finally, he still never responded, so I just said, don't worry about it. So if he caught himself getting an attitude about that, that's cool with me, because all it proved to me is that you didn't want anything anyway. Let me read that again. Hold on. It's the best thing answer every time he calls, then blow him off. Well, Patricia, I don't have any reason to talk to him at this point, because my thing is that's how you get sucked in to the reindeer games of answering the calls every blue moon when somebody calls, when they don't want anything. They just feel some type of way because you're not chasing them. And I really think that's what happened in the first place. Okay, Humbly says, y'all don't ask about them and I don't mention them. That's why I ain't mention them, because I feel like, I don't want this fool jumping in my live or watching my videos and saying, she's just talking about me. She must be really into me. No, I talk about anything. Yeah, y'all know how I am. I'll talk about anything. It doesn't mean that I'm into something or someone. I'm offended. Yes, of course, because I'm human. But I don't want to dwell on it, because I said it to myself before I jumped on this live. I'm really stunned that this Negro jumped back in a month later and played the phone tag. And then I finally took the bait and talked to him recently. And then you would pull this stunt after seeing me. I mean, it's disgusting. And then you get flipped with me about your kids and if I'm serious enough to be with you because you have children. Then you got flipped when you were here with me. I was just like, you go through all that day for day, and you weren't man enough to just say, well, I met you, I'm not interested, or whatever. And I would have been like, all right, cool. Because, I saw some things about you I didn't care for. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. So if you came here and saw some things about me you didn't care for in my demeanor or quality flaw, whatever, however you want to look at it, a flaw, that's on you. But there's a way of handling things. And the fact that you pursued me, that shows something wrong with you. Because I know I haven't done anything to him. I haven't said anything to him. Patricia says he sounds like he's a perv. Well, I got a feeling about that days before. Early part of last week, I was starting to see some things I thought was odd and peculiar. I can't naturally say it on the live, but it was just some things I thought was off, some things I did question him about. And it's just, as I always said to you all, you will always see signs about something. What? You will always see signs about people that you think is not right. You continue to talk to them anyway, continue to deal with them anyway, and you push it under the rug for the moment because you just don't want to just dwell on something that doesn't seem really major. But, right, Joelle said background check. Mama Joelle built a background check. Well, you know what, Miss Joelle? I feel you, but I don't see it being a need situation at this point, because there's no way I could go back in and have a civilized conversation with him at this point. It would not matter if he called me or texted me. There would be nothing I could say. What is it that I could say right now that would be of any consequence, of any relevance? You've done me the way you did me over a month and a half ago. I was nice to jump back in and talk to you periodically in the past month when I did not have to. And then you pulled this stunt and I haven't talked to you since I saw you on Saturday. It is now Wednesday night. That's some cold shit. That's some cold shit. Excuse my language. That's cold. And I'm cool with that. Because what I had always told myself, the fact that he ghosted you once, he has the propensity to do it again. And I have said that about people in general, that if they spite you, betray you, lie on you, steal from you, whatever's all the same, you go back in and deal with them, they have the propensity to do it again. Why would they not? Because so you see, it's easy to say, well, I like you, I care for you, woo, 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 I'll never do it again, I mean what I say this time, whatever. People do it all the time. People lie. It's called lying. You know, he's disingenuous. He's not a genuine person. He's a me person. Because when I sit back and think about all the conversations in the past week, it was always about him, and those boys. Me, my boys, my boys, my boys. I'm trying to find somebody that I can date, woo, 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 that accept me with my kids. Angela, it was never about what Angela wanted. It was never about what I needed. It was never about what I'm personally going through. It wasn't about me. It was about what he wanted for himself, his life. And he didn't care anything about Angela. He wasn't concerned about Angela. And that's the bottom line. And he showed me that in his commentary. And I still kept trying to talk to him. And he's now shown me by not calling or texting that he's self-serving. And he only cared about himself. And it is what it is. You know, like I said, shit. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck with the next. Because she gonna need it. Hell, it's probably why you're not with the baby mama. Let's keep it 100. Why you're not with the baby mama? Oh, because she didn't trust you. What you said to me. Wondering about your whereabouts and this and that. And as I said in that conversation, well, what did you do to make her think that you were doing anything? Did you give her reason to suspect you were unfaithful? Woo, woo, woo. You said no. But see, that's the whole point. How do I know that's the truth? Because I don't know him. And now I see how you've treated me in the past month and a half, playing duck, duck, goose on the phone, duck, duck, goose with the texting and the phone calls. So if you would do that to me and cry and moan how you really interested in me, and you want my heart is what you said. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell that. How the hell was you treating her? And you was in a relationship with her, living with her, and had kids with her. And the fact that your children are small, very small in age, you have 2 with this chick and you're not with her, that tells me a lot. That tells me a whole lot. And I'm not saying that chick is perfect. I don't know her either. But guess what? Oh, Lena said, damn, he was moaning too. Yeah, he was moaning. Because that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the game, honey. Let me tell you about what she did, what she was doing. But you don't ever hear any responsibility on what he wasn't doing. It's all her. She was insecure. Now she wish she had me back. Oh, that came up too. Now she wish she had me back. So it's like, oh, okay, you tooting your horn. She can get you too, but now can't she? Since you don't want the queen, you don't want to revere the queen. Frankly, you want to bring nothing to the table with the queen, because guess what? You're a grown-ass man living with your pappy. I'm telling it. I'm telling it. Them kids is hand babies, so that right there is an eye-opener. What you mean? Well, Cynthia, hi, Cynthia. Well, that's the whole point, is that I just believe this was a game from the beginning. He saw my profile. He was enamored. He ducked off, stood me up the first time, jumped back on week for week. I would be coy in my conversation because I didn't trust him. Then I finally opened up 2 weeks ago, let him in, boom, got bamboozled, and now he's poof, gone, because obviously this is who he is. He's not actually wanting a relationship with a woman. He's not trying to do what it takes to go head in, talk to a lady, video chat, Skype, whatever, spend time with her, go see her. His thing is, I work all the time. I'm tired. I don't feel like talking. I don't want to do the phone. Woo, woo, woo. I don't want to do the video chat. I got kids. I want to see my kids all through the week. I ain't on no schedule with my kids. Me and the baby mama got to understand it. So my thing is, if you saying all that, you want to see your kids every day, although you're not raising them, but you just want to spend time with them. That's your choice. But how do you have a private life and a life with a lady if you're not willing to make time for yourself? And you think you just gonna jump up out the blue, go see somebody for 2 hours, that's all they get, then you don't even want to talk on the phone or anything, and you expect a woman to settle for that? Because my thing is this, it wouldn't have mattered if I lived across the street from him. If I lived around the corner, 15 minutes from him, you would have made time for me even then. Oh, Lord, he knew his BS wasn't going to work with me. Well, I'm thankful for your comments. But see, my thing is this. He had ample enough time in talking to me in the past week to see who I am and what I'm about. He didn't have to keep talking to me. He didn't have to set up a time to meet with me. He could have ended all of that and just said, Angela, I'm not in a place to date anybody because right now my children is my main concern. And I prefer to spend more time with my children when I get off of work. And then I'm tired and I'm really not trying to engage with anybody. I'm really not trying to build a relationship with anybody. That's what he should have said. And frankly, he shouldn't even have a profile on the date site. Right, Cynthia, yes. Those were kind words you gave to me. And I thank you for that. As you see the response I gave to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, listen to Joel say, sounds like a dangerous person, unstable too. The kids may not even have the same mother. Well, they have the same mother, Joel. From what he's told me, the two small children do have the same mother. He has the same baby mother. You know, my thing is, you know, he portrays himself as a go-getter, hard worker, enjoys his job, makes a decent salary on his job. But my thing is still, you don't have everything together because one, you don't have your own place. So you would expect me to come drive 3 hours up the highway and get a room every time I want to see you? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? Because naturally, I'm not going to want you to keep coming here to see me. I would love to come see you, but at your own place. And then I ask you, well, you know, when do you think you would get your own place? Oh, probably a year. I'm going to buy a house. Well, just imagine if I waited a whole year dating him and I always drove up the highway to meet him at a hotel. You know how old that would get? And let's say a year pops by, he still ain't bought no house. Now you see where I'm going. Because see, that's the thing about dealing with people. All you have is what they tell you. And from what I've seen about him, talk is cheap. It's something I want to say so bad, a name I want to call him, but I'm on live. And I want to be respectful to my viewers and my fans. But when I tell you my tongue is so gutter ratchet right now, as somebody told me on a date site, you rapping? You singing a rap song? Huh? That's how I feel about him right now. I want to say something so gutter. So gutter. Right. I do deserve better. And as Miss Cynthia said that too. I do deserve better. Because I just can't see baiting somebody around like that. I am grown. To me, you a child. Fisher Price. You a Fisher Price toy. And it's sickening that I even have to say that on a live platform. But to bait somebody and just go week for week for week, playing in their phone and messages and on the date site playing around, it's sad. It's sad to me. It's sad to me because my thing is there are other women that live in his demographic. He could play those phone games with her. There's women that live in West Tennessee, Nashville area, Memphis, Alabama. Why not play with them over there? Say what? Well, and that's the thing. Grown ass man still living with his pappy. Talking about he gonna save for a house. Well, if you saving your money every day, you still should have a nice amount of money to put down on a nice little starter home just so you can have your freedom to roam. Let your daddy have his freedom if you actually stay with him. Let your children have a place to come and visit you and relax and be comfortable. But as they say, to each his own. But I don't really know what's the truth, because for all we know, these were just lies that he told me. For all I know, he could have a woman. He could be living with a woman. He could have actually been with the baby mother still. Who the hell knows? Because I don't know. And I don't care. I don't care. To me, he's like everybody else. He's like everybody else. Just a damn bum. A damn bum, pathological liar, borderline sociopath. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Because I do deserve better than what was given to me. I deserve much better than what was given, because I haven't done anything to this person. I tried to be a nice person to him. I tried to listen to him, and I was hoping that he would listen to what I had to say. But obviously, his needs and wants were more important than what the hell Angela had going on. No regard for me. So I'm cool. I'm cool with all of it. Yeah, say it. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Well, I'm gonna check out of here, and I thank you all for the kind words and comments. Thank you for following the Queen, liking the videos, commenting. I'm praying that the one case that we've talked about on this channel, that's Alabama, will come to fruition soon. I've heard nothing about that case with Camille. I would love for somebody to finally have a court hearing, Mr. Rika Brown. I would love for just, get something started to get a resolution to that situation, because that situation needs to come on. We need to knock that out the ballpark. And with this COVID is keeping a lot of stuff at bay. I'm praying that all of you get your stimulus check, your second rounds, praying that Friday a resolution is made for the second package for the stimulus checks. A lot of states now have the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, praying that you all get them if you choose to take the vaccine. If some of you decide not to, that is your choice. There's been an allergic reaction by a woman out of Juneau, Alaska. She's in a hospital at the moment. So there we go. $600, you heard. Okay. Well, I know there will be $300 allegedly a week for unemployment, which is not a lot of money for certain people, depending on what your job paid. If your job paid you 2-3 times that, I don't know how you're going to pay your rent and your mortgage. Oh, mercy. This is going to be a serious situation. I'm going to say this and I'm going to check out of here. I was listening to a guy, I don't know if he was a doctor last night, talking on ABC News on YouTube, and he was saying his guesstimation for this virus is 3 to 5 years knockdown time. There is no way we will survive 3 or 5 years of a partial lockdown, partial work, partial anything, partial opening of anything, partial having businesses open, closed. We won't make it. And these stories I'm bringing you will be worse in 3 to 5 years, because people are not coping well with being cooped up. People are already unstable anyway when there was no COVID, and it will be dire out here. Now, I can tell you, if it goes back to us closing up and arguing and fussing and fighting over toilet paper and sanitizer and paying $8 for a small roll of hamburger meat, some of us ain't going to be standing up. Some of us are going to be laying down, because folks are going to start flipping out, beating up folks, killing folks, beating their babies, beating their men, flipping out, tripping, shooting at folks, going off, homelessness, stealing, robbing. We'll be the walking dead. And that's what my fear is that all those years of making those zombie movies, we will eventually be like those people in those movies. It will be survival of the fittest. And the stuff that I'm talking about on YouTube ain't going to be nothing in 6 months from now. And we still locked up in the house and can't go nowhere. It's going to be bad out here. And you are going to have to look over your shoulder and watch the company you keep and the people you're around, because people will be on the take and they will be out to get you because they're going to need money. And I don't think a lot of you think about that people are desperate now. And people are now, more than ever, knocking off their babies and children because they can't afford to keep the kids. And they have become frustrated with the children. And people are diabolical. And the mind ain't right. And they're letting the current circumstances frame their mind, shape the mind and the thoughts. And I don't want any of you having to succumb to this madness. But it's about to get real crucial out here. It's about to get real crucial. So I'm going to pray for all of you. And I want you to pray for me. And I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you all for listening and commenting. I may upload a video here in another minute. She said, you still stocking up. Well, and that's how I feel too. I love stocking up. I was at the Dollar Tree today, and me and the Dollar Tree have a love affair. And baby, let me tell you, I'm in that Dollar Tree like I'm in Macy's. What you talking about? I don't have no shame. What I keep telling people, everything you buy comes from China. I don't care if it's at Macy's, if you buy it at the mall, JCPenney's, Walmart, Pottery Barn, Bed Bath & Beyond, all that stuff comes from China. So you get all riled up about that name on some sheets and the name on this. And some things are, cheaper quality, I will say. But in the end, even the higher quality comes out of China. I'm a Dollar Tree queen. I ain't got no shame. Do you understand what I'm saying? None whatsoever. My dollars stretch and keep stretching. And they gonna keep stretching. Yes, Lord. God is good and he's able. Thanks a lot for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. This is the Queen. Everyday Shenanigans. God bless all of you. Love ya. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.